Ever tried to get out of bed in the morning and felt like you were fighting every law of physics, biology, and possibly dark magic? Like your alarm yells, "Time to rise and shine," and your soul replies, "Respectfully, I decline"? Yeah, that is motivation playing hide and seek with your sanity. And if motivation is the flaky friend who says they are on their way but still has shampoo in their hair, then momentum is that loyal buddy who grabs your hand and screams, "Let us just go already." But here is the real kicker: motivation is not the key to success. Nope, not even close. The truth is, if you wait to feel motivated before doing something important, you would accomplish about as much as a sleepy potato, which, for the record, is zero. Potatoes might be delicious, but they are terrible life coaches. Now, do not get me wrong, motivation feels amazing. It is that electric jolt of "I can do anything," like the mental version of drinking 12 espressos without the heart palpitations. It gets you hyped, starts the engines, and tells you that you are about to write a novel, run a marathon, start a business, and floss every day. But motivation has the attention span of a goldfish binge watching TikTok. One minute it is there, full of dreams and drive, and the next minute you are 3 hours deep into cat compilation videos and elbow deep in snack crumbs. Because here is what motivation really is: a temporary emotion, like adrenaline or the mysterious desire to suddenly clean your entire house at 2 a.m. It is basically the sneaky cousin of inspiration, and it never sticks around long enough to handle the paperwork. Enter momentum. Momentum is not loud or flashy. Momentum is that quiet, powerful force that builds up with action, not feelings. Think of it like rolling a giant rock. The first push is brutal. You grunt, you sweat, you may cry a little. But once it is moving, suddenly it is like, "Okay, I get it now." All of a sudden, you are the rock whisperer. Momentum is science's way of saying, "Keep going, and this gets easier." And guess what? Science actually has your back on this one. Psychologists and behavioral researchers have found that what really fuels long term progress is not magical bursts of motivation, but consistent action. There is something called the activation energy principle, which sounds fancy, but basically means it is way harder to start something than to keep doing it. Kind of like when you have not cleaned your fridge in 6 months and it smells like a haunted cheese cave. The idea of starting is paralyzing, but once you take out that first mystery Tupperware and survive, you are on a roll. So if motivation is the diva who shows up when she feels like it, momentum is the workhorse that builds from doing the thing, even when you really, really, really do not want to. And that right there is the secret, the big twist ending. You build momentum by taking action before you feel motivated, not the other way around. Now, I know what you are thinking. That sounds reasonable and all, but how in the name of Netflix do I start something when I would rather staple my socks together than be productive? Glad you asked, because here come the glorious hacks, baby. Hack number one is the 5-minute rule. Tell yourself you are only going to do the task for 5 minutes. Pretend you are tricking your own brain like a sneaky raccoon trying to steal shiny objects. Your brain agrees because 5 minutes sounds harmless. But once you start, the friction fades, and more often than not, you end up continuing. It is like signing up for a free trial and somehow still being subscribed 3 years later, but in a productive way. Hack number two: create what scientists call a commitment device, or what normal people call public shame insurance. Tell a friend your goal, or better yet, post about it. Now your pride is involved, your dignity is on the line. Suddenly, going back to scrolling memes feels less good when your cousin just commented, "Let us go legend" on your post about writing your screenplay. Hack number three: lower the bar so ridiculously low that you literally cannot fail. Want to get in shape? Do one push up. Want to read more books? Read one paragraph. Want to crush your side hustle? Spend 3 minutes working on it. Because the goal is not to win an Olympic medal in productivity today. The goal is to simply move. Movement builds rhythm. Rhythm builds habits. Habits build character. And character buys you the fancy snacks at the store because now you have earned it. Also, let us address the biggest myth in the room: that motivation is supposed to be exciting. Lies. Show me someone who is fired up to do taxes or clean behind the oven, and I will show you either a robot or a deeply confused wizard. Real progress often looks like doing boring stuff consistently. That is why elite athletes do not wait to feel inspired before practice. They just show up again and again like determined beasts of consistency. In fact, author James Clear, who wrote the best selling book Atomic Habits, says that the people who succeed are not those who are always motivated, but the ones who can tolerate being bored while still doing the work. If excellence were exciting all the time, we would all be geniuses with abs and grammatically correct emails. Now let us get spicy for a second and talk about emotion. We treat motivation like a feeling. I just do not feel like it today. That is fine. No one feels like brushing their teeth twice a day for 30 straight years. But we do it because the alternative is horrifying. So make your goals less about what feels good in the moment and more about what moves you toward what you really want. Wanting to be healthy is great, but make it specific. Say, I want to be the 84-year-old doing high kicks at weddings, and suddenly eating that broccoli does not feel so tragic. And here is the real juicy part. You can manufacture momentum, like build it with your bare existential hands. Start super small, stack wins, and then ride those tiny victories like a triumphant squirrel who discovered skateboarding. Behavioral science proves that early wins release dopamine, the feel-good chemical that makes you go, ooh, do it again. It is a neurochemical high five for your brain that says, yes, progress, we like this. But plot twist, do not overload yourself. Starting big is like deciding to run a marathon by sprinting out of the gate with a backpack full of regret. Take it slow, consistency over intensity. Momentum is more about frequency than force, like brushing your teeth. You do not aggressively scrub once a month. You do it gently, daily, unless you are a dental anarchist. Oh, and watch out for momentum's evil nemesis, perfectionism. Perfectionism is the productivity vampire. It sucks the energy out of starting anything. It is not ready. It is not good enough. It could be better. Yes, Janet, it could, but first it needs to exist. Aim for version 1, ugly and proudly unfinished. You can make it better later, but only if you start now. Action builds momentum. Momentum reduces resistance. Reduced resistance creates flow. Flow leads to consistency. Consistency builds identity. And identity, that is when you stop saying, I am trying to write, and start saying, I am a writer. And that right there is when the game changes. So here is the truth, wrapped in a metaphorical burrito and served hot. Motivation is the spark, but momentum is the engine. Do not wait to feel ready. Start before you are ready, and suddenly readiness will show up fashionably late, holding smoothies. Start rolling the rock no matter how heavy it feels, because once it moves, you become unstoppable. You gain traction, you get a dance groove going with your goals. And even on the days you feel like a soggy waffle, showing up can turn that pancake of meh into a victory brunch. Now, if your brain enjoyed this little roller coaster of wisdom and wit, drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know what your secret momentum weapon is. Did one of these tips spark a fire in your productive soul? Share your wins, share your fails, or just tell us if you made it here without checking your phone. And if that voice in your head just whispered, hey, that was actually helpful and not totally boring, then hit that subscribe button on XQ. Quick, funny explanations, where we serve up genius-level knowledge at the speed of sarcasm and the precision of a microwave timer. Because learning is better when it makes you laugh snort. Keep rolling, keep laughing, and remember, motivation will ghost you, but momentum is your real ride or die.